Joker 2's trailer has dropped, and fans everywhere are confused. The haunting visuals, a Lady Gaga-fueled soundtrack, and Joaquin Phoenix's return all scream big, but is it enough? Critics are already divided, with many saying it failed to hit the mark. But here's the kicker. Beneath the surface, this movie might be setting up for something even crazier. What if the trailer missed the point on purpose? What if Todd Phillips is toying with us, hinting at a madness we're not ready for? Today we're diving into what Joker 2's trailer got wrong, or maybe what it got right. When the first Joker film hit theaters in 2019, audiences were mesmerized by its gritty, raw portrayal of Arthur Fleck's descent into madness. The film was a profound psychological exploration, highlighting the dangerous consequences of a man neglected and failed by society. Joaquin Phoenix's portrayal earned him critical acclaim, and the film itself ignited a conversation that transcended cinema, bleeding into broader discussions about mental health, class disparity, and societal breakdown. Naturally, when news of Joker 2 broke, fans and critics alike were eager to see where director Todd Phillips would take the character. Would the sequel delve deeper into the psychological trauma of Arthur Fleck, or would it broaden its scope into the larger world of Gotham? When the Joker 2 trailer finally dropped, the initial reaction wasn't just excitement, it was confusion. Fans who expected a continuation of the original film's dark, somber tone were instead greeted with vibrant colors, choreographed dance sequences, and the unmistakable voice of Lady Gaga crooning over the action. The entire thing felt more like a Broadway production than the gritty Gotham we'd come to know. The immediate reaction was mixed. While some were intrigued by Phillips's audacious genre shift, others were left scratching their heads. For a film as widely anticipated as this one, the trailer seemed to have missed the mark for many. But why? Is this tonal shift a misfire, or does Phillips have something bigger up his sleeve? Let's unpack this. The first major point of contention for fans was the heavy presence of music in the trailer. While we knew from early reports that Joker 2 would incorporate musical elements, the sheer volume of it in the trailer was jarring for many. Lady Gaga, who plays a key role in the film as Harley Quinn, sings several lines while Phoenix's Joker dances in what appears to be a surreal courtroom setting. Gone are the dingy streets and brutal violence of the first film, replaced by dazzling, dreamlike sequences. For fans who love the dark realism of Joker, this shift felt almost like a betrayal. The answer seems to be no. In fact, Phillips has been open about his desire to push boundaries and subvert expectations. He never wanted to create a superhero movie in the traditional sense, and Joker was the embodiment of that ethos. By turning Joker 2 into a musical, Phillips is making a bold statement. This won't be just another comic book movie. And while that may alienate some fans, it also opens the door for something truly unique. Still, it's understandable why many fans felt let down by the trailer. After all, Joker didn't just succeed because it was different. It succeeded because it was rooted in something very real. Arthur Fleck was a man we could believe in, a tragic figure molded by the world around him. His transformation into the Joker felt both inevitable and terrifying, a reflection of society's indifference to the marginalized. To see that world now filtered through the lens of a musical feels like a sharp departure from the realism that made the first film so compelling. But perhaps that's the point. Musicals, by their very nature, are larger than life. They allow for emotions to be exaggerated, for internal struggles to be externalized through song and dance. If the first film was about Arthur Fleck's descent into madness, maybe the sequel is about how he sees himself in his madness. A star of his own chaotic musical, where the lines between reality and delusion blur completely. In this context, the musical elements might not be a gimmick, but a critical part of Arthur's psychological journey. After all, Arthur Fleck is a man who craves attention, who spent much of the first film longing for recognition and approval. What better way to explore his delusions of grandeur than by turning his world into a musical stage? The idea of Arthur singing and dancing through his trial may seem bizarre at first, but when viewed as a manifestation of his fractured mind, it starts to make sense. The character of Harley Quinn further complicates things. Harley, like Arthur, is a deeply broken individual, someone whose sense of self is wrapped up in her relationship with the Joker. In many ways, She's a mirror for Arthur, another figure who's been corrupted by the world around her. The trailer hints at a complex dynamic between the two characters, one that could serve as the emotional core of the film. While Margot Robbie's portrayal of Harley Quinn has been the dominant version in recent years, Gaga's take seems to be going in a darker, more serious direction. The chemistry between her and Phoenix could be the film's most compelling aspect, as they spiral deeper into madness together. For fans expecting more comic book references or traditional Batman lore, however, Joker 2 might be a disappointment. Phillips has made it clear that this universe is not beholden to the comics, and the trailer reinforces that message. There's very little in the way of direct connections to the larger DC universe, and even less to Batman himself. In many ways, this is less a Joker film, and more an exploration of madness through the lens of two damaged individuals. That's not to say the film won't have moments of brilliance. Phillips is a skilled director, and the trailer hints at some visually stunning sequences. The courtroom setting, in particular, suggests a more structured narrative than the first film, with Arthur's trial serving as the backdrop for his internal chaos. The juxtaposition of order, the trial, and chaos, Arthur's musical numbers, could create an interesting dynamic, one that allows Phillips to explore the themes of control and madness in new ways. The question, of course, is whether audiences will be willing to go along for the ride. The first Joker succeeded in part because it defied expectations. It wasn't a superhero movie, it was a character study disguised as one. But now, the very thing that made the first film so unique is at risk of alienating its fan base. By turning Joker 2 into a musical, Phillips is taking an even bigger risk, one that may not pay off with mainstream audiences. However, this risk could also be its saving grace. In a world where comic book movies are increasingly formulaic, Joker 2 is shaping up to be something entirely different. Whether or not it resonates with fans, it will at least stand out in a crowded field. And in a genre that's often criticized for playing it safe, that's no small feat. Ultimately, whether Joker 2 captivates or confounds will depend on its execution. If the musical elements are integrated in a way that deepens our understanding of Arthur Fleck and his descent into madness, the film could be a bold, artistic triumph. But if they feel tacked on or gratuitous, it could alienate the very fans who made the first film such a success. As it stands, the Joker 2 trailer has certainly sparked conversation, and that's never a bad thing. Love it or hate it, Phillips has once again proven that he's not interested in playing by the rules. And if there's one thing we know about the Joker, it's that he thrives on chaos. The madness is definitely coming, it's just a question of whether audiences are ready for it. At the end of the day, Joker was a film that never really needed a sequel. Its powerful, self-contained story resonated with audiences precisely because it stood alone, leaving a lasting impact. But with Joker 2, it feels like director Todd Phillips intentionally steered the franchise in a direction that challenges, and perhaps even alienates, the very fans who championed the first film. Rather than delivering the gritty realism and character-driven depth audiences expected, he's chosen to experiment, pushing the boundaries of genre and tone in ways that seem to deliberately provoke. Now, what do you think? Did Joker 2 go too far, or is it an artistic masterpiece in the making? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more content and reactions as we break down the film once it hits theaters. Thanks for watching, and as always, stay tuned for the madness.